Well, we're very pleased and excited about the way that our team performed last Saturday. We thought the guys went into a tough environment down at Central and played as well as we could possibly play. Central's a very talented football team. Their atmosphere, their fans, it's a great place to play. It's tough to go to a place like that in a homecoming situation, but our kids handled the elements of the game, and we knew that it would be a tough victory, and we made some plays and executed and did some things well. As you can see, we ran the ball well on offense, and we played extremely well in the defensive front. When you're going to beat good football teams, those are the things that you have to get done. That moves us to this week, another tough challenge. A Delaware State football team is coming off of, probably one of their bigger wins in the program in the last few years, and I think they're doing a tremendous job of kind of implementing Coach Milstead's plan, and for those guys to be able to beat what we thought was a really good Bethune team up there, says who they are. They're going to try to line up and run the football and stop the run, and we're going to try to line up and run the football and stop the run, so something will have to give. So we're looking forward to going to Dover on Saturday and entertaining those guys.
Yeah, Coach, what have you seen on film from last week's win over Bethune that Del State kind of changed up and executed well?
Well, they've changed their defensive scheme. They made a staff change on defense about 3 or 4 games ago. They've gone to a different scheme, so the kids on defense are playing with a ton of confidence. Offensively, they're running the football very well. The offensive line, the head coach is an offensive lineman by nature, so he's going to make sure that they run the ball and protect. I think the thing that you see that stands out the most is they had 2 drives that were 10-plus minutes long, which meant that they took possessions away from Bethune. Bethune was down 9-0, within about 3 or 4 plays of the game, just based on some errors that they made, and Delaware State took advantage of those. So we're going to have to find ways to stay on the field on offense and get those guys off the field on defense.
Justin, they've got this new running back that broke out last week for almost 40 carries, named Thomas. What did you see from him last week on film, and what do you think makes him a tough out?
Last week, he's a tough downhill runner. I think for these guys, 4 or 5 yard gains is success for them, and they can continue to run 4 or 5 yards down the field, and they're going to put together 12, 15 play drives. Just giving him the ball and letting him lower his shoulder and run through guys. Very little did you see him get stood up in the hole. Every time he ran to the hole, he's knocking guys back, gaining them extra 2, 3 yards. So for us, it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a physical game up front. It's going to be for the linebackers, safeties fit into the run fits. We're going to be up for the challenge. The guys run hard, so we'll see what's going to happen.
Brandon, talking about that schematic change defensively, what do you see from their defensive front, Del State's defensive front, especially last week?
It's still more the same what they were doing at the beginning of the season. The guys are playing a little faster up front, getting off the ball a little quicker. Looks like their main scheme has eased down a little bit on their stunts and things like that, so they're playing faster up front, getting off the ball quicker. We'll utilize some of the tools that we have in our offense and take advantage of how they're playing.
Justin, for coaching your own defensive line, how have you seen them grow throughout the season, and what's your kind of overall evaluation of where they're at right now?
Throughout the season, we really kind of hit on points of energy and enthusiasm in practice. Game day, I think they're all ready to go. They're all fired up, but we started to learn that we need to practice well and practice like we want to play, and those guys are taking that point serious. And they've grown a lot through the season. You still see guys showing up on film now that weren't making that big of a difference. Deshaun Dixon, he's showing up more on film. Tavian Blackwell, you see that guy making some big plays on Saturdays. Remy Feltz is coming along. Chris Myers has been doing well pretty much all season. So I'm pretty excited for that group. They come on, like I said, they come ready to work every day, and then it shows on Saturday.
Are there any guys along the line that you've been particularly impressed with this season, or just want to highlight for how hard they worked?
It's Tavian Blackwell, actually. It's a guy that came in. He's going to his junior year now, so it's a guy that we've been working with him, and he's matured a lot, and it's awesome to see. It's a proud moment for myself because this guy's really come a long way, and he's starting to do some good stuff on film. He's playing with a lot of confidence, and that's what we saw out of him coming out of high school, and now he's coming to us. And so that guy now, Deshaun Dixon, he's kind of stepped up throughout the last couple of weeks, and it's exciting to watch them two play.
Same line of questioning for you, Brandon. First, we'll start with the overall group. How have you seen them grow as the season's gone on?
I just put a smile on my face from the first day that I've come in and I worked with them. they've always given me 100% effort. Follow my commands, follow my orders, follow my lead, match my energy. And so now they're flying off the ball. We're setting a standard in the room for tempo, aggressiveness, and violence. And they've met those goals and are surpassing them right now.
And individually, who have you been particularly impressed with, or some guy you want to
Kirby right now has become a leader on and off the field. Jalen Powell, his play has been consistently in the top 2 amongst the line. Jay Red is an anchor on the team, and Dominique Jordan is an assistant coach on the field, and he's needed. He's needed. He's an anchor for us, whether the guys know it or not. And there's been a competition at the right tackle spot all season long, which has made the whole unit better.
And moving up a level, Coach, the guys on either side of you are young guys. So how have you seen them grow throughout the season as coaches?
Oh man, it's great for me to have guys like this on our staff, and that's the reason why I wanted to bring these guys today, is because their particular position groups are huge parts of the reason that our season's turned around. And both of these guys are hardworking. They're energetic. They work well together. And I think if you're going to win football games and be successful, you can have all the skilled players in the world, but if you don't have guys that can protect the quarterback and give you the ability to run the ball, and guys that can go and sack the quarterback and give you the ability to stop the run, you're going to be in trouble. And I've got great personal relationships with both of the guys, as we do with our staff, and they're guys that, we bounce ideas off of each other. This isn't just a dictatorship type of situation. It's us working together as a staff. I mean, Justin has a ton of suggestions for me on a daily basis. And, obviously being in the offensive staff room with Brandon, there's a ton of communication. But you couldn't find 2 better guys to lead, the 2 most important groups on your team.
Justin, you kind of had views from both sides, starting with the tight ends and now the D-line. So it's not a question I get to ask very often, but I'll ask it now. What's kind of the camaraderie like between the entire assistant coaching staff?
Oh, we're always hanging out. I mean, it's a family, and that's the thing we preach. I mean, Torrey came in last spring. I mean, we hang out all the time now. I mean, going out, get some wings. I mean, it's just what we do. We're always talking, having a good time, and of course, when we're winning, I mean, it's even better.
Yeah, Brandon, what have you noticed since you've joined in, and what the group is like?
Well, first, how we're performing offensively. I appreciate how within my first year he's able to implement some of my suggestions and listen to me and trust me enough to know what I'm seeing. So that's a credit, that's a statement and a testament to him as a head coach. And me and Jay Will, I think this is the first time I've been. It's the first time a defensive line coach has been around my same age. So the competition periods and things like that, it's high energy, and it's appreciated. So and then off the field, we're always able to grab wings and hang out a little bit.
Question for you guys: do you guys ever have like one of your position groups wins over the other in practice? Does someone have to buy wings ever?
Push-ups and sprints right now. I think you added an extra idea to that though. Yeah.
Yeah, what are practices like between you guys? Are you guys barking at each other just as much as the players, or what?
The players amp it up, and me and Coach Torrey, we have to be the regulators. But I mean, if y'all ever get a chance to come out and watch the one-on-ones now, I mean, it's a treat. Those guys are going back and forth, and they're competing, and that's what you want from the 2 groups. And I mean, it's a lot of fun. I mean, we go team on team. I mean, it's a fun period. Guys are amped up. Guys are competing hard, playing fast, and yeah, sometimes me and Coach Torrey go back and forth, but we're just trying to add fuel to the fire.
You guys ever going to put on pads again and go at each other?
Nah, can't get to that point right now.
But what are the 2 personalities like?
They're very similar. Very very high energy. They're both very meticulous in their work. As I say, when you've got young, energetic guys that are also good football coaches, you're very fortunate. They both put the time in. Justin does a myriad of things outside of just being the defensive line coach. Brandon really works on the run game and makes sure that our guys are technically and fundamentally sound. And when you're managing those types of guys, it's a little bit different from dealing with the skill guys. The offensive and defensive linemen are different different type of personality, and you know these guys have to be able to manage those personalities, and they do well, you know, and they work well together, because I've been on staffs that, you know, you can't get the offensive line coach can't get things done if the defensive line coach doesn't work with him, and vice versa, because there's certain things that Brandon needs from Justin and certain things that Justin needs from Brandon, and they make it happen. And obviously, you know, we're playing pretty well up front on both sides of the ball because of the way that these guys are progressing their groups.
Brandon, coming from the pros and starting your coaching career, how has that transition gone for you? And as you build your philosophy as an offensive line coach, what are you looking for to build in a group?
The biggest thing right now, I'm been very blessed to come from the pros and then get into college coaching immediately. Didn't have to go to high school route or anything like that, and was handed the offensive line group right away. Didn't GA or was an assistant offensive line coach. So I've been very blessed in that manner. Like I said, I've had an opportunity to work with some good head coaches. So the trust level has also helped me grow. You know, with more responsibility, coach gives me a full plate, full load, and trusts me to get it done. And because of that trust, you know, I'm going to make sure everything's correct and everything's on time and properly done. As far as our mindset in the offensive line room, you know, I ask those guys what their goals are, and I try and reach their goals, help them, and in return, I ask them to match the one goal that I have for them is to play physical, play fast, play low, kind of embody some of those things that I want our unit to look like. And so, you know, as long as they're reaching for their goals, you know, mine are kind of entertained with theirs. So I've been in a fortunate enough position to have a great head coach and then great guys around me.
Same thing for you, Justin. Now that you're with a position group that you obviously know well from your playing days, how have you seen your philosophy kind of grow and blossom in this short period of time?
Very similar to what Torrey was saying. I mean, I like to see my group play physical, good pad level, and just be gap control. And then my fourth piece is just be relentless. And that relentless effort comes on, I mean, of course, pass rushing downs, comes on guys just running sideline to sideline, playing fast and trying to get after the football and just dominate up front. And we've shown that last couple of weeks, and I mean, it's great to see on film. It's just we just got to keep it up and just keep playing at this high level, and that's what I want to see from my guys moving forward.
Coach, what can you say about the mental makeup that you guys have had to kind of go into these environments like last week and two other times before on teams' homecomings and spoil their party?
And the homecoming stuff doesn't matter to us. We're trying to win football games. The great thing about homecoming is that you're playing in front of great crowds. You know, all these guys came to play Division I football in front of great crowds and great atmospheres. But as we've said from day one, it's a tough, resilient bunch. And, you know, we try to be the same people every day as coaches. Our philosophy hadn't changed, you know, from the start of the season. You know, we're working the same amount of hours, working the same, you know, same schemes and doing the same things. It's just taking a little bit of time for us to get to where we want to be. And these guys on my right and my left, along with the other coaches, have given me the ability to stay even-keeled, and they've done a tremendous job of managing the players, because we all know that a lot of people have written us off, and our staff never flinched, and our kids didn't flinch because our staff didn't flinch. And we still have a lot of things to play for these next 2 weeks, and this is a tough challenge for us to get on the road, go up to Delaware, you know, where the crowd's going to be a little bit different, you know, than the crowds that we've played in front of the homecoming crowd. It's going to be one of those, you know, bring your own energy type of situations, and we'll have to prepare for that. But you know, just going back to the mindset of these kids being tough and being resilient, and it makes me feel really good about it, because, as I always say, you know, we shut out the outside noise, and it's about the guys in the room and the people that support us.
And as an offensive guy, what have you noticed from Del State's kind of their young trio of freshmen that they got rolling right now?
On which side of the ball?
Quarterback, running back.
Oh yeah, their offense. Yeah. Oh wow. You know, if you look at it, obviously you see the running backs are freshmen. We've watched their quarterback in crossover tape all year long. You know, when we're watching the next opponent, I think the young man's been playing really well. They have a plan. They have a scheme. They're not going to ask him to throw the ball 40 times a game. I think they're very well coordinated on offense, and I think their offense starts with their running game. I think like a lot of people, they're trying to run the football to set up the pass. And you know, if we let these guys stay on the field and have these long drives, you know, it takes time and possessions away from our offense. So it's extremely important that we're able to you know, handle the quarterback and handle the running backs and all those guys. And as you said, those guys are good young football players, and I think Delaware State's got you know, a bright future.
And the last thing I want to ask you is if you could, what is like a classic Justin coaching moment, a classic Brandon coaching moment?
Oh man, Jay Will's got so many. I mean, you know, some stuff we probably can't say. But you know, one thing I asked Justin a few weeks ago, I said, "Hey man, I need more energy, more juice." So if you come to our practice, you know, every day Justin's meeting guys at the gate, you know, challenging them to be energetic, challenging them to be, you know, enthusiastic, and that's really who he is. You know, he's a guy that's running around on Saturdays, you know, chest bumping guys when they get sacks and all those things, and that's what you want out of your defensive line coach. And you know, Brandon's a guy who wants to run the ball every down. You know, we were talking about something today, you know, whether we wanted to actually RPO something or run it. Of course, he wants to run it. And you know, it's great to have him there with me on game day, because there are a lot of times where it's, hey, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. I'm like, hey, Brandon, give me one, and he does a tremendous job. But you know, great personality for his guys. You know, he has those guys playing at a very high level, and sometimes I have to go down there and say, hey man, you guys need to tone it down a little bit. But I'd rather have that problem than not. And I think, you know, you see a reflection of both of these guys' personalities in the guys that are playing for him right now.
Coach, with a couple of the upsets in the MEAC last week, I know coaches always want to take the one game at a time, but you know, it's something that the staff and the players have noticed, that hey, we're kind of in, you know, moving up, and we're kind of in the jumble there that's within a game of first place when you exclude FAMU, who's ineligible. Is that something that's kind of gotten guys' attention to even give them even more to play for than the excitement they've already been playing for the last couple of weeks?
Well, they know it. I think the thing that we're playing for most right now is to try to go 4-3 in the conference. And if you go 4-3 in the conference, it gives you the opportunity to you know, go 6-6 on the year. And you know, with the way that these things are going on a week in, week out basis, who knows what's going to happen? You know, I can't get into all the tiebreaker stuff because I don't know what that stuff is. But it's just exciting to be in the conversation, you know, after the start that we had, and again, you have to credit our kids and you have to credit our coaches for having us in this situation, and our kids really feel like they have something left to play for, and that's why we're continuing to come out and practice and prepare the best that we can.